Can you hear me now? You can't hear me at all. Here I was chatting and I forgot I was muted. Thank you. I took down my sign the other day that says unmute yourself. Seems I need to put it back up. Anyway, well, hopefully you're all having a wonderful Monday. That's what I was saying. And I'm excited to have you here and talking all about Scrivener's Pro tips. Oh, excuse me. So we are going to go over a lot of fun stuff today. If you're new to Scrivener, some of these things may go a little bit over your head. So I would encourage you to watch some of our other webinar series. And so don't feel like you should jump off if you're brand new to Scrivener. There's still lots of great stuff here you'll want to learn. But I just want to give those few of you who are new, a little new, that some of the tips might be like, oh, that might be a bit much for me right now. But that's okay. That's totally fine. Wherever you find yourself, you may be surprised. You may be like, oh, I didn't know that, and I want to do that today. None of these are really super duper advanced. I do call them advanced tips, but really, they should be at like I'd say an intermediate level. If you're pretty new to Scrivener, you should be fine. But just bear in mind if you do feel lost, like oh, don't freak out. It's okay. I got you. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna get you where you need to go. No, let's do that right now. Give me a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I know nothing about Scrivener at all, and 5 being I'm a pro. Give me a rank. Where are you guys at? What are you feeling like? Okay, 2, 2, 0, 2 to 3, 2 to 3. Okay, we're seeing a lot of all over the place. Yep, that's good. That's good. Now, just a heads up, we do have a pretty big group planned for today. We have over 1,500 people registered. Now, I know not all 1,500 are gonna show up today, but we should have a pretty good crowd here. Now, we are going to start here in just a couple of minutes, okay? But I have to apologize in advance. Completely and totally dropped the ball. I forgot to schedule my technical support for today's session. I was getting ready for today, and I went to look and see who was going to be joining me today, and I saw, oh, there's nobody there. Nobody's been scheduled. I sent a quick email to see if anyone could jump in. Unfortunately, everyone was scheduled and booked up for today. So I really will appreciate your patience as I navigate today's session without the additional support I normally have. And if you could do me a huge favor, put all of your questions in the Q&A so that when we get to the end of the webinar today, I can review those one by one and go through them. And I'll also do my best to kind of periodically check the chat. I have it right up here on my other screen. I'll try to look at that. Keep an eye on it. It's been one of those months. Yeah, where things just I got so much going on. I missed that one. I just missed that one little thing. And Leslie, that's a great question. Will I send a replay? Yes, the replay will be available. I'm gonna go through that in just a second, and we'll talk all about that stuff. I'll make sure to get those links at the end of the session. Be sure to remind me just in case I forget. I usually don't. I usually get those links to you at the end. But if I do, if you're like, hey Oliver, where's the links? Just send me a message. We'll get those taken care of because there are going to be several key links you're going to want to have access to throughout the session today. Okay, just give me a second here. My ear is itching for some reason. Here we go. Okay. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Okay. I'm excited to get started. I see we have such a great crowd here from all over the place. UK. I'm seeing Florida. I'm seeing people from all over the world here. This is great. Sacramento, Calgary. Um, Jessica's asking, should we have the Scrivener open during the webinar? We are going to be recording, so don't feel like you have to follow along. It's okay if you just watch it, and then you can actually watch that replay and then take it beat by beat, pause the video, kind of get familiar with it. And a lot of what I'm covering today is not rocket science. It's pretty easy stuff. We'll take it a beat at a time. We're going to cover 5 core tools here, 5 interesting tools I'm really excited about, 5 tips, I guess you could say, and how I use them. And hopefully we'll get you going where you need to go. Okay. Let's see, 76 new messages. Welcome, everyone. I'm seeing some people from Texas. That's where I'm at right now. That's great. Sydney, Australia. Thank you for your sacrifice and coming here early. I know those of you who are on that side of it, New Zealand, Australia, wherever you're at, if you feel like, oh, this is too early for me, we are recording, so you can always watch the replay later if it makes more sense to you. I got a lot of emails with people requesting, are we going to have a replay? Yes, we're going to have a replay, so hang tight. You know what? Let's just go ahead and dive right in here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started right here. Let me quickly change something real quick. Nope, that didn't work. I think I'm going to, nope, that doesn't do it either. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. We're just going to jump right in. Everyone can see my screen, hopefully. Look and see real quick. Yep, all right, like a pro. And real quick before we get going, I want to ask this question. What writing processes do you want to implement in Scrivener but haven't figured out how to do it yet? I hope that makes sense. Like, what are you trying to do in Scrivener that you just, I don't know how to do this. How do I, how do I plan out for like a character arc or something like that? Or how do I track my plot structure? How do I create a setting or a character or whatever the case may be? I want to hear what it is you're trying to do in Scrivener, but you're like, I just don't know how to do this. Or is there a way to do this in Scrivener? Let's see what we got pulling up here. Okay. Building and organizing research, more than how to save to Dropbox, how to even plan structure, everything related plot. Oh boy, it's going faster than I can keep up with it. Let me see if I can scroll up here. Organize a novel, how to set up a research for my novel. Okay, organize notes, so many things. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm seeing a lot of organization here so far. I'd love to master using tags and metadata to track characters and settings and things. Ooh, Michael, I'm a big fan of doing that. I have other webinars where I go really into depth into that. So I recommend you check out the webinar library. We got a lot of stuff there that can really help you out. If you're looking for anything specific that I mentioned that, hey, we've done that before, you can send me an email and I can see if I can find that session for you. I do frequently redo a lot of the stuff though, so we'll probably have some new stuff coming up on that too. Revisions on chapters and organizing them. Ooh, Jennifer, we're going to talk about a little bit about that today in one of our tips, so that's great. That's a good one. Just starting out a new book, how do I outline it? Ooh, that's a great question too. Inspector, what is it for? Great, Evelyn. We're going to talk all about the inspector on Friday, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't registered for that one, check it out. Timelining a series, drafting a graphic novel script. Oh man, there's tons of great stuff here. And when you guys tell me this, what I can do then is I can look at all this wonderful information and I can start building content and events around this for you so we can start answering those big key questions. Now, we are going to cover just 5 things today. There's only so much we can cover in an hour, but I'm really excited to share what I have with you today. Now, to begin, I just want to welcome everyone to our September Scrivener webinar series brought to you by the creative minds behind Scrivener and Scapple, Literature and Latte. I'm Oliver Evensen, your host today, bringing you insights drawn from over 15 years of writing and Scrivener expertise. Now, whether you're a seasoned author or just starting your writing adventure, our webinars are designed with your needs in mind. So today we'll be exploring 5 advanced tips to supercharge your writing skills so you can write like a pro with Scrivener. Now, for those who wish to revisit today's session or share it with your fellow writers, this webinar is currently being recorded. You can watch the replay on my YouTube channel tomorrow. I'll get that posted up tomorrow. And you can also enjoy it ad-free next week in the Literature and Latte webinar library. So stay tuned for that. We'll get that up as quick as we can. So let us get the ball rolling here. Let's get started here. Ooh. Okay, now that we're better acquainted, let's spend a few minutes outlining today's schedule for the session. So to begin, I'm going to start out with let's see here, a short introduction of who I am and what I do. From there, we're going to jump right into my training where I'll cover my 5 advanced tips to supercharge your Scrivener skills. Okay. And to wrap it all up, I'll provide you with a wealth of free resources you can utilize to deepen your understanding of Scrivener and improve your writing skills. I'll also leave ample time at the end where I'll do my best to answer as many of your questions as possible. And of course, if there's anything we can't get to, we'll have those emails and things you can use to get the help you need. Okay, so now for those of you, if anyone's new here who doesn't know who I am, my name is Oliver Evensen. I'm a writer, editor, and mentor with 15 years of Scrivener and writing expertise. And I'm so excited to teach you what I have learned in my position as the outreach specialist for Literature Latte, the creators of Scrivener and Scapple. Now, I absolutely love connecting with other like-minded writers. If you want to connect with me, please send me an email. My email is right there on the screen. Or better yet, you can join one of my email lists. I frequently send out valuable tips and techniques to help you become a better writer. And of course, all free subscribers receive a free copy of my starter novel template, which you can check out there. Now, if you'd like to see what I'm writing in Scrivener, I highly recommend you go to my Substack, oliverevensen.substack.com, or use this QR code right here, and you can see what I've been working on. To be fair, I'm a little bit behind, but there's a lot of great stuff there. I hope you'll really enjoy that. Okay, well, without further ado, let's dive into our first tip, tip number 1, and this is tailor Scrivener's toolbars to meet your specific needs. Okay, now the Scrivener main toolbar is an excellent resource. It provides you quick access to your favorite tools while allowing you to explore and experiment with new ones, and that's how I use it. When I first started using Scrivener 15 some odd years ago, I would mess around with this. Once I discovered I could change my toolbar, I was like, well, what does this tool do? And what does this tool do? And I just started testing and trying things and to see what Scrivener could do. Now, you can start by navigating to the View Customize toolbar where you can streamline your workflow and by removing non-essential tools and adding your favorites in, or experimenting with unfamiliar tools. And some of my favorite tools include, let me show you here. We're going to go into Scrivener in just a minute. Don't worry, hang tight with me. We're going to look at the Move tool, project targets. I'm a big fan of project targets, comments, collapsing and expanding things, text to speech, dictionary focus, etc. Quick reference, all this great stuff. And there's so many more things you can do. These just happen to be some of my favorite things we can add and customize there. Now, tailoring the toolbar in this way can really make your writing process more efficient and enjoyable while using Scrivener. Now, I do want to give a quick heads up for Windows users. When I demonstrate today, I'm going to be demonstrating on my Mac today, but it is a bit different for PC users. So what you're going to do for PC users is you're going to go to View, Customize Toolbar, okay, at the top menu of Scrivener, and from there a window will pop up that will allow you to add and remove tools as desired. So adding and removing tools is just a little bit different on Windows than on Mac, but the result is essentially the same. So let's go ahead and dive right in here, and we'll see that in action. I'll double check and make sure everyone can see my window. Can everyone see that? Scroll down in the chat. Okay. Yes, great. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up Scrivener. Okay, right here. Click that open up. I'm going to use my starter novel template today. This is the free one I include with my newsletter. So if you'd like to get access to that, you can go ahead and get that. But it doesn't really matter which one you use. Whatever we're doing today, this is just for an example. So the starter novel, we'll call this. Okay. Now I know there's some new people to Scrivener. Hopefully that didn't seem like rocket science. All I did was create a new project. Ideally, you want to give your project a really solid name. I did not do that this time. I just called it Starter Novel just to give us something to work with. But basically, give it a good name, save it in a place on your computer where you can find it. Now in this case, you can see I saved mine in Documents, Scrivener Projects. Okay, so ideally having a central location in your Documents folder or in Dropbox, which is the service we recommend you use if you're using Scrivener with the cloud. Just having a central folder to keep all those projects is critical. Keep them all in one place so you can easily find them on your computer. Okay. Okay, so there we go. We're going to scroll up here, and right here at the top, this is our toolbar. And you may notice already that my toolbar looks a little bit different than your toolbar, right? Not quite the same thing. Let's go ahead and reset this. We're going to customize this by right-clicking. Let me do that again. Right-click and click Customize Toolbar. Now, like I said, if you're on a PC, you can't do this. You need to go to the View section here and go to View, Customize Toolbar. Maybe in a little bit different location. If you can't find it as a PC user, you do have this little help bar in PC. Use the search function and type in Customize Toolbar, and it will take you to that menu item if you're on a PC. And as you can see, it also does it on our Mac here as well. So we'll go to View, Customize Toolbar. And for Mac users, we're going to have a drag and drop kind of experience. For PC users, you're going to add and remove them in a little window that pops up, okay? Now, if you ever want to get back to the default here, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up like this, and it takes me back to my default. This is what you're all probably used to seeing. This is what normally is there, and you can either keep it like this and say, okay, I just want to experiment with what each of these tools are, or you can come in here and have some fun like me. So I'm going to go ahead and customize this right here. Again, by right-clicking, clicking Customize Toolbar, and then I'm going to select the key things I do or do not want on my toolbar here. So for example here, I don't really use this insert option very much. In case if you're wondering what that is, it allows me to insert in like an image or add a footnote or add a comment. It's kind of nice. You could actually add in footnotes and comments really quickly. I don't use footnotes all that often, so really I just need the comment. So all of this doesn't always make a lot of sense to me to have that whole toolbar there. Oops, sorry about that. So what I usually do is I come here and I first look at it and say, hey, what don't I need? Okay, I don't need that insert button. So you can see I'm just drag and dropping it up. I don't need the quick reference. Quick reference, you can click on any title in the binder and click the quick reference button. It'll open it up in a new window. I just click the spacebar. The spacebar does the same thing. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, I don't need my quick reference anymore. I do have my add trash. I do want to keep my add. I'm going to move that over here. Do you want to, my trash, once again, I learned a keyboard shortcut for that. So it's a Command Delete for a Mac user. I can't remember what it is. It's probably Control Delete for a PC user. But whatever you want to do is fine. I'm going to go ahead and remove the trash folder there. You can see as it disappears, the ones that are on here are kind of grayed out. The ones that aren't on there are clear, or not clear. You can see them. They're more defined. Okay, looking good so far. So you probably want to keep our view mode. This allows us to switch from document or scrivening's view to corkboard to outliner, compile. I could pull that over too. To be honest, I don't use my compile button that often. I usually just go to file, compile, or I use the keyboard shortcut. Now, you don't have, I know I'm saying keyboard shortcuts a lot. You do not have to memorize any keyboard shortcuts if you don't want to. It's just something that as I got more comfortable with Scrivener, there were just certain things, there were tools I wanted up here instead. So I removed them and I took the time to learn that keyboard shortcut so I wouldn't have to have that tool up here. And I would, personally, I would not remember them all. Now let's look at a few things I'd like to keep. I like to put on here. I'd like to have my speech up here. Probably gonna remove this little bubble here too. I'd like to have, let's see here if I can find it. Targets. I do like targets. Okay. And you can mess around with any of these. We're going to talk about snapshots today, so I'm going to go ahead and add in both of those snapshots so we can look at that. We have expand and collapse. Now, the danger here is that you can really add a lot of stuff on here. I recommend you keep it as simple as you can. Only keep the tools you know you're going to be using pretty regularly. This one right here. Yep, that one right there. I want that. Move tools. I like the move tools. And let's see if I can. You can do either one. I like the whole set. And oh yeah, I like to have my comments because I just use the comment tool all that often. I don't really use the footnote or the insert footnote and stuff like that all that often. But you see, you can actually have separate versions of each of those. And I think we'll leave it at that. We're going to keep it pretty simple, but as you can see, there's a lot of things we can do here. I might even just move some of these down to give us a little bit more space here to kind of space this out a little bit. And we can even add in a little space here to kind of break up some of these tools like that. I'm going to do yep, perfect, just like that. And when I'm done, I'm going to click done like that. And there we go. Now I've got my toolbar all customized how I might like it, right? So from here, let's look and see what some of these tools do real quick. We're not going to do them all because we're going to come back to snapshots in a minute. But if we expand everything, oops, expands everything in my binder. If I collapse it, collapse everything. So I actually prefer the collapse more than I do the expand. Sometimes expanding is just a bit too much, right? But if you want to quickly collapse everything in your binder or even in the outliner, okay, this guy right here, okay, for example, let's see, we're in the series folder. Let's click that there and expand it all out. You can see it quickly allows you to do that. This is where I actually find these tools more useful, less for the binder and more for my outliner here, if you like using that tool. So we can add text to speech. So if I had some text in here, let's see if we can just go into here. What this will do is writing here, when I click that, it's going to read to me. Okay. Oops, got pro writing aid turned on. Let me turn that off real quick to say before 1 hour. There we go. So we could come here and we could actually just click the speech button and then it'll read it to me. Okay, and it's going to use whatever voice that you have set up on your computer. Okay, if you're on a PC, it's going to be something different. If you're on a Mac, it's going to be something different. You can adjust those settings in your operating system for PC and Mac. I'm not going to go over that today, but just so you know, that option is available to you. Okay, one thing I really like here is these move tools. So what I can do sometimes when you're moving things around, let's say we come in here and we add in let's do a new chapter like this, okay, like so. I may accidentally drop it into the wrong folder like that. You see how it's like a chapter inside of a chapter now. I was trying to put it below it, right? So what I could do is then just use this little move tool right here, and it moves the selected documents left. Boom, just like that. And now it's structured correctly. Now it's not a chapter inside of a chapter. It's chapter 1 and then chapter 2 and so on and so forth. So I just find these really handy. You can see, let me go ahead and change this, add a little 1 to it. So you can see I can easily move things up, down. I can even move it out and then down and push it into Act 2A like that. I just find that really easy. I like the drag and drop too. Sometimes that drag and drop is really intuitive and easy, but occasionally I just find this a little bit easier to navigate around. Just push that around where I need it to go, and it just pops it in right where it needs to go. And if I ever get in the wrong place, I can easily pop it out. This is, for me, game changer for me. Just made it so much easier controlling how my binder works and moving things around. Well, no, thank you. I love those those alarms. I'm glad you guys like that. It's a good one. So we'll come back to snapshots in just a second. I know someone was asking, hey, how do I get started outlining my book? We're not going to go super deep into that, but let me show you real quick. If you were outlining a book, right? Let's say this is your series right here. This your manuscript folder here. I've renamed it a series folder, and inside of that, I've created a folder called Book One. And if you're wondering how I got that icon, just go to change icon. You can find all the cool icons here, including this little brown book here. Okay, I called it Book One. And inside of Book One, I had Act One, 2A, 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 2B, and 3, right? Inside of that, I have a chapter folder, and inside of that, I have scene documents. Okay, and so if I was going to outline something, let's say if I'm an outliner, this is how I would do it, right? I'd build out a structure, and I'd go probably into my corkboard mode here. I'd start outlining Act 1, 2A, 2B, 2, 3, right? I go in here to the chapters and start adding summaries, right? Synopses or whatever you want to call them, summaries here, right? And that's kind of how we go through and build things out. But if I were a pantser, okay, just bear with me real quick. If you're a pantser, I probably would approach things a little bit different. I'd probably just create a folder. I just call it scene ideas like this, okay? And then I would open it up, and every time I want to create a new scene or something, I would just click the plus button and write scene whatever, and giving good names is always better, right? And then as I start to develop ideas and scenes start making sense, I'd start dragging and dropping those scenes into my book like that. That's kind of a simple rundown of how I might do that. Now I know I went a little fast with that, but that's kind of the basic idea of how I would quickly outline something in Scrivener, either as a pantser or as a plotter or somewhere in the middle. You could use both. You could write into the series folder, the book folder, and then move things around, whatever makes sense for you. Scrivener is flexible. You can kind of use it however you'd like to use it. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So I'm just glancing over the chat real quick and the Q&A. I see someone's asking if we are recording. Yes, we are recording, so don't worry. You'll be able to watch this again. Pause it, restart it, take it a step at a time. Don't worry. Just it's been recorded. We'll get you taken care of. We'll get you those links there at the end. Sophie, if you're a pantser, yeah. Let me show you real quick. I see someone's asking about a pantser. I do have a project called the Pantser Novel Compass. This is actually one I designed specifically for myself. I'm just going to call this the Pantser Project, okay? Just so you can see how I've set this up. Now you can get this from my website or you can build it yourself. It doesn't matter either way. But basically all this is some folders I put together. I have my toolbox that has my potential scenes, right? Okay, these are potential scenes. These are story seeds, okay, like just ideas I have about the story. These are the scenes that I want to write. This folder is all about writing the scenes. I'm like, this is the reason why I wanted to write this book in the first place. Those are those scenes. I even have a section for like plot points. Like if you use a plot structure, right, you could actually try to identify each plot point as a single document and then integrate that into the book, right? And last but not least, I have like a series Bible where I start pulling all that information together as it comes to me, right? Just putting things together into that series Bible like that. Now, just to keep an eye here, these are all just folders with cool icons added to them. So this would be really easy to recreate. Of course, like I said, you can get it on my website as well, but I'm going to leave it at that. You can see it's the same kind of series title here, a book here, an act with things inside of it. And we got templates and everything all kind of ready and set up ready to go for you. Okay. So that's how those work. Okay. Now, if you don't have any of that, that's fine. You can come here to go to new project here like this. You can go to the fiction project here, create a novel. Call this my first novel. Okay. Bear with me here. Click create. Oops. I guess I already got a first novel there. It's my second novel. Okay. And you could rebuild this whole structure, just create simple folders, right? And get that where you need to go, however you want to do it. Usually what I do is I come through here and I just quickly clean some stuff up like this. I'll move all these things into my, oops, let's undo that. I don't do that. Just move these into my research folder. And you're left, as you can see, with some core folders here, a manuscript folder or a series folder, depending on what you call it. Okay. A research folder, templates, and your trash. Okay, that's a project at its most basic level. Manuscript folder or series folder, research, templates, and trash. That's it. Okay. And of course, as you can see, I'm gonna merge these windows together real quick so we can I can quickly toggle back and forth here. Okay. Um, we can see here it's all about how you put it together. So this is a kind of a really simple starter novel where I've kind of taken the original novel template and just kind of tweaked it a little bit for how I like to get started with a novel. And something that's a little bit more advanced where I've gone in and I've really taken time and created key folders and key things that help me get grounded as a writer. So this is actually the one I use the most, but this is still a great template, and so is the original one. It's just based on what help or what structure you specifically need. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and close out that one and close out that one. If you're wondering how I merged those together, that was View, merge all windows. Unfortunately, this is a Mac only feature, so PC users, I apologize. You could not, if you have multiple projects open, you can't do this on a PC, but you can on a Mac. You can merge them all together into one window like this, and then kind of toggle between them like that. Okay, there we go. I'm sure there's tons of great questions coming in, so hang with me. We'll see. I'll try to get to those as we get closer to the end. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's look. I think we've covered our tips. Number one, customizing our toolbar. And once again, we're going to come here. You can see there's other fun things we can do here. We can even like actually remove items and things like that as well, just by right clicking if you're on a Mac. But I think we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to switch back to my presentation, and we're going to move on to tip number 2. Okay, tip number 2, and this is one I don't talk about a lot. It's utilizing the writing history to monitor your project. And I love this because it's something we kind of don't think about as writers. We kind of just kind of move along and don't really think about what we've been doing and what we're doing. And actually, this history has been really enlightening for me because it's kind of shown me my habits as a writer, what I'm typically writing. And this may change. It's been a while since I've been able to sit down and really look at it again. I do need to spend some time with my metrics again. But I discovered that just through trial and error and through many projects that I tend to average about 750 words a day. It goes up, it goes down, but on average, that's what I'm writing, about 750 words per day. And that's what the power of this is. It lets me know my total writing days for a project, the average words written overall per day overall. I can filter by months, days, or both. I can see how many words I've written, minimum in a day, maximum in a day, and then I can also even export that as a .csv file that can be opened in Excel or shared with someone else who wants to kind of look at that data. So it's a pretty detailed breakdown down. It really is a kind of a fun and informative way to keep yourself on track towards your writing goals and kind of see where you've been and maybe where you're going. I use this information to kind of figure out like how long will it actually take me to finish this book, because I can look at my previous history and say, oh, it took me about that long to do that one, and historically I've been doing this. If I keep doing what I'm doing, then I'll probably finish by next December or so, next November or something. It allows me to kind of just almost kind of use the past as an indicator for the future. Now, it's not perfect, right? Sometimes that's not always the truth. Stuff happens, life happens, and all that stuff. But it is something that's really, really powerful and fun to use. Let me go ahead and share that with now. Now, in order for the writing history to work well, I'm going to have to show you a project that I've been working on for some time. Let's go ahead and share my screen again. And can everybody see that? Hopefully. Looking good. Okay. Perfect. Great. Great. Glad to see it. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate your patience with me here. Okay. So let's actually look at it right now. Let's go to our writing history in the starter novel here and see what we got. I'm going to go to project. I'm going to click right here, writing history. Okay. Boom. Excuse me. Sorry. Woohoo! I've done a total of 2 words. 2 words in this project, and I have 1 writing day. Okay, so that's great. I mean, hey, you got to start somewhere. Every journey, every book starts with a single word, right? So 2 words in, that's where we're at. And so you can see, we can see the date. We can see the month. We're looking at months and days. We can show it in words or characters. Okay, we can look at months only. We can look at days only, and you can see it changes a little bit based on what we have down, what we have selected here. Now, words written, we have in draft 2, elsewhere 0, total 2, session target nothing. So it doesn't have much to go off of. Let's open up a project of mine that I have been working on for a while and see what that looks like instead. So we're going to go to recent projects. I'm going to open up the Otter and the Amulet. Those of you who've been with me a long time are very familiar with this project. It's actually the one that's slowly coming up on Substack. Thank you for your patience with us. But let's get this ball rolling here. We're going to go to project writing history. This project has been years in the making. In fact, the actual writing days is 369 days now. So I've spent 369 full days on this project. Probably not full days, but like relatively speaking, about that much. But bear in mind that this project goes way back before more than a year. That's a year worth of days. But I've actually been working on this since November 3rd, 2020. So quite a while, right? We're in 2025 right now. Been working on this about 5 years. So a lot longer than I'd like, but hey, that's where I'm at. There you go. The good part is it gives me a really good history and a really good trend of what I'm doing. And you can see right there, there's my average words written per day, about 785 words per day. And that's how I know. And honestly, when I write, it's true. I kind of can feel it when I get to that 750, 780 range. I can feel myself kind of like, oh, I'm tired, tiring out, which is kind of a bummer because you think, oh, I want to write like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 words a day. Frankly, I don't really worry too much about how many words I'm writing anymore, but I do like to know when I'm kind of reaching my upper limit. Now, I do try to stretch myself, write 1,000, 1,200, if I can. And bear in mind, this isn't always consecutive, right? In some cases, it's jumping around. I'll write like a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Friday, and I'll write. Sometimes I'll write Monday through Friday. It kind of varies, and you can see exactly the exact days I've written and worked in this project, all the way back to the beginning, right? Back to when I started working on it. So we have here, I'm writing about 785 words in the draft, about 392 outside of the draft, and so a total of 1,178 words per day. Now, the elsewhere, I don't count that one as much to me. It doesn't mean as much because sometimes I'm just copying and pasting text in from the internet that I've pulled in, like some research or something. So I don't really consider that me writing. It's just me gathering information. Occasionally, I'll be writing out like outlines and things like that, and character sheets and things like that. But yeah, a lot of that for me is just stuff I've gathered and brought into the project, copied and pasted in. But a lot of this is actually just me writing, And you can see I kind of go through spurts. Some days some months I'm writing a lot, some months I'm not. Let's look at months only and kind of see what that looks like. So August, about 5,000 words. July, about 5,000 words. June, I lost 411 words. May looks like I didn't get any writing done in May. May was just not a great month. And this is really intuitive because in May, my kids were home from school. It was the beginning of summer vacation. Yeah, I was not getting much done in May. By July, I had finally gotten back into a groove. But those 2 months were like summer months. Yeah, writing was not happening for me. April, March, you can see how things are kind of, going up here. March was a really great month for me. February, really good month. So you can see I'm moving towards the end of the year, and that's where I'm going to start getting more of my writing done again. I'm heading that direction. I can feel I'm getting excited because we're getting into novel November here very soon. We're going to be writing a novel in a month, and frankly, I probably will be just working on this book. But anyway, you can see how this all kind of comes together and all the way back to the beginning. I love this because I can see my whole progress, see where I was really doing well, see months where I was just not doing anything, and just kind of give me an idea of what went into this project. This is just numbers, but these numbers tell a story, right? Anyway, so you can see that as you click on each one, it's going to change the metrics down here too. You can look at like how many words were written, the average per day. So in March, I was averaging 1,968 words, which is quite a bit higher than my normal, So it just depends, So look at that, use it, and it can be a really, really powerful tool. And of course, if you want to export it, you can. You can include which columns you want to include and uncheck or check those, and then open those up in Numbers or Excel or whatever you like. I don't have either of those on here right now, so I'm going to just leave it at that, but feel free to mess around with that and have fun with that. Click OK. Perfect. So that's tip number 2. Use your writing history. And if you forgot how to get there, we go to Project, and we go to writing history right there. If you still can't find it, maybe for some reason it's not there, go to help and type writing history. You'll find it. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Excellent. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to switch right back to our presentation, and we'll go to tip number 3. So this is a fun one. We're going to talk about enhancing your project by applying label coloring. So if you don't know what a label is, we'll look at that briefly. But the idea is you can use labels to track key things like maybe progress, status, things, how far along, if it's to do, or if it's in progress, or if it's done, right? We can use labels to keep track of character arcs. That's my favorite way. I keep track of my character arcs using labels for viewpoint characters. Especially, this is especially useful if you have multiple viewpoint characters and you have various colors you want to keep track of there. But the idea is that you can have those colors not applied just in the inspector, but you can have those colors in your binder. You can have them in the icons. You can have them in the index cards. You could have them in the outliner rows. You could show them in Scrivening's titles if you know what that is. You can show them as the background color in the binder. And what this does is just makes it really pop, so you can see what is what and how you're moving along. If you're looking at progress, let's say red means to do, then everything in red is something you need to work on. Everything in yellow could be something that's in progress. Everything that is, I'm trying to think of green could be done, right? And likewise for characters. If I had specific characters, I just memorize the character's name associated with that color, and then just know, oh, red is my character Eridan. Blue is my character Ival. You know, I can just keep track of those characters and know what those colors mean and see that in my binder. So let's look at that right now. I'm going to switch over back again, and we're going to look at that in Scrivener here. Okay. Now you can see here, I already have some labels set up, but let's go back to our starter novel template and let's kind of just look at the labels as they stand and as they exist already. So we're going to come in here, we're going to click edit. Typically, you're going to see this section right here. You can see like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And it literally is just a label with the color assigned with its name, right? Not very useful on its own, but when you start changing those names, it becomes useful. So let's do the progress one here. I'm going to delete the orange by clicking this little minus button right there. I'm going to keep the yellow. I'm going to get rid of blue. And I'm going to get rid of purple. Now you can have as many statuses or whatever. You can have as many labels as you like here. I can come here and add one back in. If I want to change the color, I can double click it and adjust the color to be whatever I want it to be, right? But for now, let's go ahead and just keep it what we have here. So red means to do, okay? And yellow means in progress, okay? And green means done, right? Now, what I am going to do, I actually am going to darken these up a little bit. Actually, not darken. Let's just change it to a kind of a more vibrant green. Now, you may or may not want to do this, but I like it because it just makes it a little bit more visible when I put it in certain sections of my binder. You might want to go with a more pastel look if you're doing it in the outliner. We'll look at that in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and darken these up because it makes more sense for my binder. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, let's darken it up. Let's make it a nice deep red. Okay, so we have to do, in progress, and done. Click OK. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to come to my template sheets here. These are all to do, okay? So I'm going to select these all. I'm going to hold down Shift and push the down key to select all those. I'm going to right click them and batch change these to the label to do, okay? Now you can see in the, what do you call it, in the corkboard here, that label is now showing up in the corner, which for most people is more than enough. For me, that's perfect, but we can do more, and I'll show you in just a second. But let's click here. Okay, looking good. So those have been inside, but we don't see any visible change in the binder, do we? So let's go ahead and go to View, Use Label Color in the binder. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, perfect. Now we can see these 3 little dots here show up. And so everywhere I see those 3 little dots, I know that is to do, right? Let's come up here and let's just for the sake of simplicity, let's change some of these to in progress. I would actually have all my templates be to do, but I just want you to see this done, right? So we can just kind of see how that's going to look like that. And we'll do this one as to do as well, okay? So it would look something like that, okay? Now, there's more we can do in the binder here. We're going to use label color in. We're going to show as background color in binder, Okay. And what it does is it stretches it all across. So now we don't only just see the dot, but when we see the dot when we select it, and otherwise we can see it fully in the binder. So some people are really going to like this because you can really, it just pops. It's like there's no missing that color there. You can see it. Those are all to-dos. That is in progress and that is done, right? That's a good feeling, right? But for those of you who are maybe a little bit more like me, that feels like a little too much. What I'm going to do instead, I'm actually going to turn off the binder. I'm going to go to View, Use Label Color in the icons. And I like this a little bit better because it's not quite so ostentatious, but we still get this beautiful color here in the icons. And I can see it just by looking at it. Like, oh, yeah, the icon tells me that's to do, and that's done, and that's in progress. And I can just glance at it and know without it kind of like overwhelming me with color. So it's a matter of preference here. But personally, I typically keep the icon look versus the full binder look. But to each their own. You make your decision and go with it. Just run with it. And of course, at any time, you can come here and turn it off, right? And you can see we can also turn it on in our index cards, in our outliner rows, and in our scrivening titles. So we're going to focus next on our index cards. Let's look at that. I'm going to click on my chapter template here. Okay, this is the index cards as they currently look, right? I'm viewing the scene templates inside of this folder, the chapter template folder. Let's look at it. And we're going to go to View, Use Label Color In, and we're going to do Index Cards. Okay, in this case, once again, we get a very vibrant color, right? So before we could just see it on the edges, now we can see it on the entire card. Okay? And so anytime we see that now, we know, oh, that color means it's to do, right? It needs to be done. We could also show it in, let's see here, in the outliner rows. We're going to switch over to the outliner, which is top right corner here, or this little symbol right there. You can also go to View, Outline. You can see that's what it looks like in the outliner rows. Okay, we can also turn that off so you can see without it. That's what it looks like with it turned off. You can see we can still see it in the icons here, so it may be a bit overkill. That's one thing I like about the icons is it carries across. Here, let's turn it off here in the index card. See how it's still there in the icon? That's why I like the icon because it's a little more subtle and you can kind of see it in all three views. Here, I love that. And see, I even have the label turned on here. I could come and toggle that off. But even with the label off, I can still see what's going on because I still have that color there to remind me, to help me understand. Now, in this case, I see someone's asking, what's the main difference between label and status? Labels can be used for anything, not just status. Even the status list here, you can customize it to be whatever you want it to be. So in this case, if I was using my labels as status, I probably would edit this status list. I'd probably call it something completely different. It could be anything you want it to be. Maybe like if you want to keep track of characters without a color, for example, right? So character, or we'll just say heroes. Why not? No, let's do point of view. Point of view, right? You could come in here and you could change these to let's do this as no point of view assigned, right? And then you could actually come in here and just add the characters and change their names to whatever you want it to be, right? It would look something like that. So now instead of to do, we'll do that. And we could just assign it. There would be no color associated with it, but you could still have a point of view list at where your status list used to be. Okay. And in this case, now our label list is being used as our status. So we can see that visually. So that's a matter of preference, however you want to do that. Now let's go over to this project right here, the Otter and the Amulet, the one I've been working on here. We'll see how I use that instead. So I use labels the other way. I use my labels because I wanted to keep track of the colors and see who was what. So Aridin is red, Miro is green, Nira is purple, Idar is, what do you call it, yellow or gold, Adeline is blue, and Grondel was, I think it's kind of a bright yellow. Caius is orange, right? Now, only 4 of these characters are actually key viewpoint characters. Some of these are just other like side characters that happen to get a chapter here and there without as a point of view. But you can see my to-do here. I've kind of lengthened that out to be a to-do in progress written and then just a bunch of drafts. Eventually, I'll probably add that done button back in there. And so if we go to our outliner view here, let's see this. You can see, oops, let's take off some of this stuff so it's not quite so jarring here. Move it over like that. I think I got it centered. There we go. So we have our title, we have our draft folder, I have like a prologue, I have parts with chapters stored inside of them. Inside of those, I have scenes, right? So let's minimize this up. Let's click inside here and collapse it all. There we go. Maybe instead of doing the whole saga, let's just hit this here. And once again, click inside and collapse all that, and so we can kind of see how this is looking out. Now, this is draft 7, or actually, I think it's actually draft 6. So I took everything out, and we're kind of starting from scratch again. But you can see kind of how this is kind of all lining up here. We have uh, a part with chapters inside of it. We decided to do multiple parts this time. We originally had it as like, I think 3 acts, 3 or 4 parts. Oh, wait, no, I think it was like 6 or 7 parts. Sorry, I'm forgetting. But then we broke it up into like 12 different parts just to kind of try things, try a new structure and see what came out different. But yeah, let's see. I kind of lost track of that, but let's look here. You can see here the coloring. That's what I'm looking at. The coloring here is how I keep track of who is who in this book. So you can see all the parts. I know it's a part intuitively because typically only parts have that multiple point of view label assigned. If I open it up, then I have chapter folders, right? Those chapters, these are all Eridan, right? And if you're wondering why I'm pausing over the names, because we recently changed we changed the names of our key characters. And the old names are still. See, it even says there's Ned. It was the old name there, so it's still kind of stuck in my head. I recommend making name changes earlier if you can. So we have green here, right? And red, and this one, oh, here's one that what we have multiple viewpoints in here, so we had 2 characters scenes in the same chapter, so that can happen. But you can see, I can see where my characters are, and I can kind of see their arcs. This is really good for the group mode as well. For the corkboard view, I can see that. If you're wondering how to navigate the corkboard, click on the icon, double click it, takes you inside of that folder. Okay, we can double click either of the dust lever too, and boom, there's the scene, and then we can double click that again. That takes us actually into the scene itself. Now, if I need to get back, click my back button, boom, back, and here I am. So this is a great way to utilize our labels. And as you can see here, I still have my status list. And if I came over to view outline, I could see, let's go ahead and let's turn off total words here. And let's just look at labels and drafts. Is that the one? Labels. And let me just double check. Edit here. Yep, I renamed it draft status. I'm just going to delete that and just call it status because keep it simple. And we'll center that up. Oh, looks like I need to. There we go. Okay, now I can look at it. You can see how those those colors correspond to each other there. Okay, if there's no label assigned or something like that, there's no color, right? And then we have our statuses right next to it. Okay, so I can still keep my status. I can also keep track of my character arcs. I love this for a lot of reasons. I know there was someone talking about how can I track character arcs and things like that. I would use, if I'm using labels, there's an arrange by label view here, right here, bottom right corner. I can click and I can kind of see how things are going out. Now, in this case, it's just they're all on one label, right? But if I were to go inside some of these folders here, we could see the different labels or the different character arcs as they go. Unfortunately, this is not a good example because it's it's a newer draft. There's not much in it. But if we go to book 1 here in right here, yeah, and do it like that, there we go. Nope, that's the wrong one too. There we go. That's one. This is the original draft. Oh, then we can kind of see that here's Ival, or here's Eridan's plot, Miro's plot, group everyone in it, and all the way to the end of that part. And so I can kind of see it part by part where the characters line up. Okay, so kind of cool. I know it's a quick review of how that works. If you want to dig deeper into that, I have another webinar session where we really go deep into that. We can look at that more. But there you go. That's that. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. No, I think we covered all the label coloring and things there. So we're going to jump right back and jump into tip number 4 and see how we're doing. Oh, we're about 15 minutes till. So I'm going to go through these last tips. Oh, wait, I would love a deeper session on this. Definitely. Great. Perfect. If there's anything you're seeing like, hey, I want to go deeper into this issue, let me know. Send me an email. I got that email address there, contact@ogevensen.com. I'll try to create webinars and events that really dive deep into specific topics. It can be challenging because we do get a lot of people who are like, I'm a beginner. I don't know where to begin. And so trying to gauge that and get everyone where they need to go. But the good news is we have a lot of resources for beginner, intermediate, and advanced users. So wherever you're at, we can get you what you need. Okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect. I see all the questions coming in. So many great questions. 50 questions in the Q&A. Great. Good job, guys. Let me get a drink of water real quick. We'll switch over here. Okay. Okay. Switch to this. Okay, let's talk about snapshots, people. Okay, capturing a snapshot before editing. Now, this is some advice I need to take myself. Sometimes I forget to do this. That's why having it in your toolbar, especially the titled snapshot, will be really, really useful. That's actually a tool I even forgot about till today. I'm like, ooh, I should have that in my toolbar. So we're gonna look at that in just a second. So we've all been there, right? Making changes to our writing only to realize that the preferred version was actually better. Or maybe there was a paragraph that you deleted. You're like, oh, I want that paragraph back. It was such a good paragraph. I still need it. Well, in Scrivener, you don't have to worry about losing your previous work thanks to the handy dandy snapshot feature. Okay. Before making any significant edits, simply take a snapshot. And I do recommend memorize the keyboard command for this or adding it to your toolbar like I was mentioning earlier. It's Command 5 for Mac OS. It's Control 5 for PC. If you want to learn the, what do you call it? The titled snapshot keyboard shortcut, look at that one. That's a good one too. I don't have it memorized off the top of my head, but that's one I should have memorized. But you can just as easily snap it from the Scrivener's top menu as well. And this will save a copy of your current text, which can later be assessed through the snapshots menu in the inspector pane. And you're probably asking, Oliver, aren't we talking about the inspector on Friday? Yes, we are. So we're not going to go super deep into this today. On Friday, we'll do a deeper dive and jump into more of what snapshots can do. But basically today, I just want to introduce you to the idea and then show you how it works. So snapshots can help you prevent losing your work and make sure that's never those versions of that chapter or that scene never get lost. In fact, you can even choose to roll back to a previous version if you so choose. So let's see that in action right now. Oops, before I do that. Okay. Now, you can see, if you recall earlier, we added in our snapshot tool right here. You don't need both of them. I would recommend you just choose one. I like the titled snapshot because if you're familiar with me and what I do, I like to give things very specific names right at the beginning. Don't wait till later to try to figure names out. Just give it, even if it's not a perfect name, just get something down that makes sense to you that you can easily understand. So let's go to our scene one here. Okay. And I'm gonna write in some text here. Like so. Maybe I'll even grab something from the author and the amulet. Let's go in here. Dust Lover, Idar. And let's just grab something here like this. And paste that text in there. We'll even change the color back to the default color like that. Okay, so we got some text here. We got something going on here. We're going to go ahead and take a snapshot. So you can see right here at the top right corner is the snapshots tab in the inspector here. It's where all the snapshots or versions or drafts of your scene are kept. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just click the snapshot button. Let's see what happens. Boom. Okay, I took a snapshot. It says untitled snapshot, not ideal, right? We want to give clear names, but that's a quick and easy way to quickly take a snapshot. If I'm ready, I can start making changes to my book. Here are the changes. Okay, like that. Okay. So there we go. We've made a change. That's our first snapshot. If I want to change the title name, I can double click this and call this first draft, for example. Okay, like that. So now we have the first draft, right? That version that was initially there. Then we have now the second draft right here that's live in my document. Okay. Okay. Now, what I can also do to find this tool is go to Documents, Snapshots, Take Snapshot, or Take Snapshot with Title. Now, I recommend you take a snapshot before you change anything in your text, especially if it's going to be a major change. If it's going to be like a comma here or some grammatical changes or punctuation, spelling, whatever, I don't really worry about that too much. That can always be fixed later. I'm not too big about that. But big changes, definitely want to use this tool. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to click the title snapshot this time. It has a little T underneath it. Okay. And we're going to give this a title. And so we'll just call this second draft, right? Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to delete this just to give us something to work with. This is now the third draft, so to speak, that's live in our project. And we now have first draft, second draft, and our current draft in the editor here. Okay. If I want to, I can click this little compare button. It'll show me what's been deleted or what's been changed. Same thing here. See what has been added, what has been deleted. Okay. Right from back to the beginning. And I can even roll back, okay, to a previous version. Let's say I want to roll back to the first draft here. I can click the roll back button. It's going to ask me, hey, Oliver, do you want to take a snapshot of this third version before rolling back to the first version? Now, I'm going to say yes, because I don't like losing anything. So yes, boom, there it is. It's done an entitled snapshot, but I'm going to call this draft 3 didn't like it. Like that. It doesn't matter. You just give it a name that makes sense to you, and now we're back to draft 1, right? We've gotten all the way back to the beginning, but if just so in your head, we're still technically in draft 4, even though we've gone back to the first draft, right? This is the 4th version of this document, right? So you just kind of keep moving forward like that, and that's how you keep track of versions with snapshots or drafts, so to speak. So that's how that works. We're not going to, like I said, we're not going to go too deep into this, but that's how this specific tool works. I love it. It's a very powerful tool. I highly recommend you use it. It's also great to just, if in case you lost something, if you change something, you're like, I want to get that back. You can always kind of sift through your snapshots for that draft, find the paragraph or the sentence you're looking for, and bring it into the new version of the document. So there you go. Okay, perfect. Let us switch back to the presentation here. Okay, I even forgot to click one more to show you what we were going to be covering today. There's those keyboard shortcuts, Command 5 for a Mac, Control 5 for a PC. If you want to, that's for without a title, that's a untitled snapshot. If you want to learn the titled one, I'll have to let me know, and I'll see if I can dig that one up for you guys later, and then roll back, right? Being able to roll things back and compare things as well. Okay, so we're on to our final tip here. This is for those of you who have ever encountered a problem with your Scrivener project. First off, I don't want you to panic. Okay, if you have a problem with your Scrivener project, there are a few things you can do. You can often reset it or even restore it from a backup. And we all know that technology can be unpredictable at times. And we do everything here at Literature and Latte to ensure bad stuff doesn't happen with Scrivener. But unfortunately, sometimes things outside of our control, stuff happens, right? So if you encounter issues with your projects, don't panic, right? Total, what's that? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy there. Don't panic. There are options to restore from a backup if needed, or even do what we call resetting your display preferences and your preferences within the app. Those display settings, sometimes there's a little bit of trouble. We can quickly do that, and it can fix a lot of issues. And I want to just teach you how that's done. It's really easy to do. And of course, if you are still having trouble, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have free technical support standing by, ready to assist you, and they're always happy to help you out, and it will resolve any issues that you may encounter. They're awesome. They're great. Okay, they're just as knowledgeable, if not even more knowledgeable than me. So trust them; they will never steer you wrong. So let's dive in right in, and let's see how we can do this in action. This is something I don't talk about a lot, but I think it's really important that we talk about how you can reset or restore your project if anything ever goes wrong. Okay. Sorry, 1 second here while I switch over. There we go. Can everyone see my screen still? Looking good. And I see McCruth or McDonald. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. um, he's asking if I've done a session or if I will do a session on restoring from backups. I'll show you really quickly how to do that in this session right now. But I do have a whole webinar where I talk in depth about backing up and how to safeguard your work. So check that out. If you can't find it in the webinar library, I can send you the link and get you access to that. That's not a problem. So we'll definitely look at that. Okay, so let's look at here. If I want to, let's start with resetting the project display settings. So what I could do, I'm actually going to let's go ahead and close this guy out here. Give it a second. It's going to back up. Anytime you close out a project, by default, assuming you haven't changed your settings, Scrivener will back that up. Occasionally, some of my projects are a little bit big, so they take a little bit of time to back up there. But there we go. That got backed up. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to hold down the Option key here, or Alt key if you're on a PC. And you can actually close the project and clear interface settings by clicking that button right there. You see how that changed? Now, it may be, if that doesn't work for PC users, I have another way we can do it. It's a little bit more technical, but I'll show you how it works. We're going to go ahead and click Close Project and clear interface settings like this. Okay, so there, close that up. Now we're going to open that recent project again right here, and let's start a novel, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, there we go. You see how everything is just kind of no selection, blank. This kind of cleared out all of the data and things that was going on there. Usually 9 times out of 10, if there's a problem with your project, doing that simple step will clear out all the problems. It'll kind of be reset. You may notice here, if we open up here, our display settings have been reset. So all my view here, I'll have to come back here and turn on my icon color again. So it is going to clear out some things. Sometimes those settings miswires, stuff happens. I don't know. It just causes a problem. So if we just clear all that out and start from scratch, it makes things work a lot better. In which case, once again, it's really easy to come and turn those settings right back on again, right? But that's how we do. How you do that? That's usually the first step. Anytime I have any problem with any project, that's the first thing I do every single time. Yeah, it takes a little bit of work to come and set up some of my display settings back up again, but it's worth it if it fixes my project, right? It gets it working. Okay, that's the easiest thing to do. I'm going to show you how to do this. If you can't, for any reason, get access to this by holding Alt or Option, you can't find that little that option to close the project and clear the interface settings. There is another way, so don't freak out. It's okay. You can still do it. Here, let's get over here. We're going to go over to this one here. I'm going to go to my Finder. I don't know why it's popping up on my other screen there. There we go. We're going to go to my Scrivener demo files here. We're going to go to my example projects, and we're just going to choose one. Let's do Whispers in Willowbrook. Okay, and this is the same for every project. Now on a Mac, you can see we kind of have this nice little interface here where it looks like a single file. But one thing you should know about Scrivener projects is Scrivener projects are just a bunch of folders stored inside of one massive folder. Okay, on Mac, it looks just like this. It looks like a nice, neat file. On PC users are going to be more familiar with this. It actually looks just like a folder. And if you opened it up on a PC, you'd see something like this. This is very familiar to PC users because actually what they do is they double click this button right here and it opens up their project. And ironically, it does the same thing on a Mac. It's just we have a slightly different interface here where we can just double click this right and open it up just like that. Okay, so just a little bit different, but the idea is the same. We're going to right click it on a Mac and show package contents to get inside here. Okay. Now for PC users, you're just going to open up your project. Now what we're looking for is the folder called settings. Okay. And like I said, this is a little bit more technical, and we're looking specifically for the UI-common and the UI.plist. I'm going to select both of those by holding down the Command key or the Control key on a PC. And if we delete those two files, that will reset the display settings for my project. Like I said, this is only if that first option didn't work for you. This is the extra option you can go. We can right click, move those two to trash. Okay. And we can go back out here and open this again. Let's see what happens. Oh, there it goes. See, same result that we got before. Just a little bit more work. If like I said, the easiest way, hold down Alt or Option and click that button right there. But if that doesn't work or you can't find that for any reason, you just go inside your project and delete those two files. Okay, and if you need to see that again, I'd recommend you watch the replay there. And you can see it's really easy to do. Just right click, show package contents for for Mac users. If for a PC user, you're just gonna double click it, go to settings and find those two files. You can see immediately now that I'm back in here, once I open that project again, it recreated those files and kind of made everything fresh as if it were brand new. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so that's resetting our project display settings. If I've done that, it's not working, what's going on? What do I do? The next best option is to go ahead and restore from a backup. Now, one thing about Scrivener I want to give advice to everyone is that you should regularly be closing out your project. Okay, don't just leave your projects open. Close them out, because typically when your project closes, even though it's saving every 2 seconds, it only typically backs up when you actually close your project. So it's really critical that you regularly either memorize that keyboard shortcut, Command quit, or Control, or quit out, or you just come here to the menu and just quit out. Whatever you do, you can even actually go to your settings here and turn on the automatic quit. So it quits out after 15 minutes of inactivity. I highly recommend that. It's a great little tool to have there to just quick out really, just have it kick out by itself. That way, it gives it an opportunity to back up on project close. That's a really key thing, backup on project close. Now, I also turned on backup with each manual save. Now, you don't actually have to manually save in Scrivener, but if you're familiar with the Control S or the Command S keyboard shortcut on a PC and Mac for when you were in the Microsoft Word days, you can use that old muscle memory, right, to save your backup every time. So if I do that, let me show you. I'm going to actually do Command S right now. There it went. It was really fast because there's not much here, but it's backing up my project every time I push Command S. So that's a great way to utilize that old habit, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's how you. That's what that is. But let's go ahead and go in here. Let's go back to Scrivener settings. We're going to go to backup here, and here is our backup location. Okay, this is the location it's stored in. We can click choose to choose a new backup location, or we can click this button here to open the backup folder. Now, if you're on a PC, you're going to want to look for, I think it's tools or options. So you can find your settings in that way. Options. I'm blanking right now. I'm so sorry. But if you have questions and you have a hard time finding your settings for whatever reason on the PC, just send us an email, and someone who has their PC open available will help you walk you through those steps. But essentially, we get to our backup location. We need to open up our backup folder. Okay, you can see I have lots of backups here. Okay, tons of them. Some of them are even just stored in the cloud because haven't been used in a while. These are newer ones, right? So what I need to do is need to find the actual backup of the project that I need to restore. Could be any number of these, right? I think we'll just choose one here. I wonder if I can find the starter novel. Let's find it. Starter novel. They are in alphabetical order here. Maybe if, oh, there it is. I have too many of the same. Let's go ahead and sort by date created. Boom. There we go. Oh, okay. So I can see the recent ones I made. And now what would I do? Let's say my project wasn't working. I couldn't open it, right? Let's quickly move this over here. Come on. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so I wanted to open this up. What I would do is actually I would double click it. Okay, it's created a copy. It's still there. Okay, the backup is still there. And then bring it over here. And then I would open this up in Scrivener to see if it has what I wanted, right? Okay, oops. Don't do that. Let's see. Yes, I have to click move out of Dropbox. Sorry. Oh, it moved it back into Dropbox. That's why we got that weird error. Okay, and then I would open it up and see, hey, is this the correct version, right? And I just double check that. You don't ever want to open it inside the backup folder. That's the most important thing I want to tell you. Just don't open it up inside the backup folder. Open it out inside. So if it turns out this one is the correct version and everything is good to go, okay, well then what I go ahead and do is I go back to my, where is it? Documents, Scrivener projects, and then I find the starter novel. There it is right there. So this one we're assuming wasn't working right. So I'm gonna just go ahead. You can keep it. You could store it somewhere else. You could maybe even create a new folder. Didn't work. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. If you're too afraid of getting rid of it, personally, if it's not working, it's not much use to me. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and delete it, and then just drag and drop the new one in its place like that. That's what I would do. Is how I would that's the most effective way or the safest way to handle resetting or restoring from a backup. Now there are situations where maybe if you restoring from a backup is an option because maybe you haven't been backing up regularly, and so the old version is too old, right? In which case you could arrange something to send it to your project to our technical support team, and then we can take a closer look and see if we can figure out what's going on with that project and potentially maybe fix it. No promises there. That it gets tricky. That's why I highly recommend prevention is key. It's better to regularly back up. So if there's any problems, right, we can easily restore that backup. And of course, our technical support team is standing by. They're happy and they're ready to help you whenever possible. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead. That was our last tip. Let's switch back to our thing here. There we go. So hopefully these 5 tips gave you a few ways to enhance your writing experience with Scrivener. I know some of you, I know if you were new, a lot of this may have gone over your head, but hopefully there was a lot that you can glean from here. If you are new, if there's things that just like, I didn't get that, I don't understand this, please reach out to us. Let us know. We want to help you. Continue exploring Scrivener's features. I would gauge this webinar as kind of beginner to intermediate, right? More intermediate maybe, but hopefully we got some good stuff there going for you. Now, every day I'm so inspired by the amazing things that you guys do with Scrivener, and I want to support you on your journey as an author, and I love watching you grow. So if you're looking for more tools that I personally recommend, please head over to ojevensen.com/links to explore everything you need to take your writing to the next levels. And if you're not already a part of the Turning Writers to Authors community yet, please join today by subscribing to my insider newsletter and unlock exclusive perks like Scrivener tools, writing training, and my free Scrivener starter novel template. So don't wait, jump on that. That's ojevensen.com/links. Okay. Now, of course, we have our webinar library as well. If you're looking for past webinars I've done, please go to literatureandlatte.com/library to find all the past webinars we've done. You can also go to my YouTube channel. I think it's youtube.com at OJ Evensen. That's where not only do we have past webinars in there, but I'll be getting this one and the rest of this week up tomorrow on there. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming here shortly. And of course, we have our user forum, user manuals, blogs, and video tutorials, and so much more available at the links listed on there. And of course, if you're ready to, oops, I clicked the wrong button. There we go. If you're ready to dive right in there and join my newsletter, you can use that QR code right there. Just scan it, and it'll get you ready to go and get you that starter novel template and get you started. Okay, so what is next? Hopefully, it looks like you guys enjoyed this. I'm glad that this was a very helpful webinar. Um, Always happy to see that. We have a lot of stuff coming your way this week. This Wednesday, September 24th, 2025 at 1 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. UK, we have a special guest from Book Baby who is going to come and teach us all about what makes a great book cover. And I've had a little sneak peek at her presentation, and I have to say, I'm really excited. It looks like it's going to be really cool. She really breaks it down to us, like the key component, the core components of what makes a great book cover. So if you haven't already registered to that, make sure you register. Here, I'm actually going to pull out the link here and give you guys the registration link right now. Get registered. I want you there. I want to see you there on Wednesday. We got 2 more sessions, this one on Wednesday and 1 more on Friday, where we're going to talk all about the inspector. So if you were really into the snapshots thing today, join us on Friday, because we're going to get that and go deeper into it. And I think it's going to be, you guys are going to have a lot of fun. Okay. So now the time has come. We're officially going to open up the floor. I think we'll go for about 15 minutes on our Q&A. I'm happy to address all those questions. It looks like we have about 75 questions in the Q&A. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. I'll do my very best to get to as many as possible. Try to go through those duplicates. Normally, I'd have someone filtering those out for me, but as you know, it just didn't work out today. My bad. But I'm happy to address any concerns or confusion you guys may have, as well as provide any tips to help you guys write effectively. So let's get on it. Let's dive right in here. And here, real quick before I forget, those are the email addresses you're going to want to reach out to for technical support. You see, we have Scrivener/Mac, Scrivener/Win, Scrivener/Mobile, and also Scalpel if you're a Scalpel user. And of course, if you want to reach me directly, you can reach me at contact@ojevensen.com, and I will be happy to address as many of those questions as I can. Ideally, if you have a very technical question, please reach out to our technical support team directly. They get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, and they are very quick. If you're sending me a very specific question, you're going to have a better response time with the support emails. If you have like something like, "Hey, Oliver, I'd like to see a webinar on this, or I'd like to see content on that," send it to me, and I will start integrating that into my webinar and content plans moving forward. Okay, so let's dive right in here and see what we got. I'm gonna drink of water real quick. Thank you to Margaret. I know, I mean, we got tons of questions here. So if if you can't stick around, I totally understand. But I'm going to keep going through as many of these questions as we can until we get to about probably next 10, 15 minutes max. Oh, what's the YouTube address? Let me drop that in for you guys. I'm going to drop in that link real quick. This is the YouTube address. So if you want to watch this tomorrow, you can catch it there. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna pop out my Q&A here so I can see that a little bit better. Kind of go through these one at a time. Okay, so we're going to dismiss that one. Dismiss. Okay, so Roger is asking, how do we handle citations while writing in Scrivener? So integrated with Zotero, how do they convert to endnotes, footnotes when they compile? Now, Roger, that's a great question. Right now, currently with Scrivener 3, integration with Zotero and other citation management tools is pretty simple. It's a simple kind of integration. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. I'm going to share my screen again. It's a simple integration. We go to Scrivener, settings, and we go to general here, and you can see right here we have citations. Okay. Right now I have mine set to bookends. Okay. You could use any app you want. All this really does is just launch bookends. That's honestly, it's a very, like I said, it's a very simple thing. If I go to, there it goes. It's popping up here. Let's minimize that now. I'm going to continue my demo here, and there it allows me to do this. Okay, allow, not now. Okay, but essentially I can create, if I'm familiar with bookends or with Zotero or whatever I'm using, it just launches that app. And typically with Zotero, what I'm doing here is I'm actually just copying a special, I can't remember, code identifier that I can then later go in and scan it, and it'll every time it encounters that code, it just replaces it with the citation inside of the document in question. Okay, so it's a very simple integration. I do have a lot more. I do have another webinar where I've gone into that deeper, and I know it's really fast and quick. So if you want more into that, I highly recommend you check out that webinar. If you can't find it, send me a link. It's in the webinar library. I think it's uh, sorry, it revolves around what's it called? I forget the name. Nonfiction writing. Yeah, I think it revolves around nonfiction writing. I can't remember the exact name, but it revolves around nonfiction writing. Okay, good. Let's see here. Andy says, I bought Scrivener way before I was ready to use it. Let it sit for 2 years. Now I have no idea how to start. Is there a homepage? Will I nuke what I have already in there? If I start over, how do I even log out? Yikes. Okay, I can feel your pain, Annie. I know that feeling where you're just starting, like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Um, it's the kind of thing where it's really hard to break things in Scrivener. It really is. It really is hard to break things, and you can really easily reset and go back to default. Really, really easy. So let's look at that real quick. I'm going to switch over here. So let's say, for example, you had a project, you set everything up. The project, if it is what it is, you could actually import your existing project into a new project if you feel like you just want to start from scratch. Let's say you got my starter novel template and you want to say, hey, I have no idea what was going on in my other project. I'm going to use this starter novel template to get the ball rolling here. How do I get started here? How would I do that? Let's close out bookends real quick. Really easy to do. Okay. Let's put this off to the side here a little bit like that. Okay. Sorry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to File. Let's do our research folder. File, import, and I'm actually going to select a Scrivener project. So you could import files, web pages, whatever you want here. You can import and split things, but for now, for our simplicity, I'm going to assume you have a project you want to bring in. Find a Scrivener project. Oh, this project's in the trash. Give me a second, guys. Let's pull it out. It'll be quicker if I just pull it out of the trash. Boom, like that. Okay, because I'm working off of a recent project. Okay, continue. Yep, I know. Okay, so how would I bring this in? What would I do? Okay, we're gonna go to. Oh, come on. I'm gonna do it in my research folder here. I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna call this old project. I'm gonna make it big bold letters. We're gonna go to File, Import. Let's do this the right way this time. Okay, import, and then we're gonna find the project that I was working on. So I'm gonna use my demo projects here as an example. Example project. We're gonna bring in the Whispers in Willowbrook romance novel. Import that in like so. See, it's bringing everything in. And now I have all my old project here. Oh, does it not go in? Oh, there it is right there. Okay. I'm just going to drag and drop this inside this old project here. And you can see all my folders are there. Okay. Everything I had in this project. Now, this one was actually more organized and better than this project I brought in. But you could see how quickly and easily I was able to bring everything in here and have it all available for me to use and write with. And I can then restructure this whole thing and say, okay, I actually like part one here. I'm going to bring this up here into here. Open up the book, Act 1. There, actually, no, this is part 1. We're going to just delete all this stuff here. I don't need it. Move to trash, and there we go. Now I'm starting to build out my my book and my structure in here. And so there's a lot of things you could do. If you need more specific help, reach out to our technical support team. We can kind of walk you through it a little bit. We can, get some exchange back and forth via email. You can show us where you're having, send us some screenshots of where you're having some trouble, and we'll kind of try to point you in the right direction. And we do have some new trainings and tools that are going to be coming out here shortly. I appreciate your patience in that. But we do have plans to kind of make things a little bit easier for you. So if you're brand new, we've got a lot of ideas and things coming your way to help get you started off on the right foot. Okay, by the way, there is no need to log out or anything like that. With Scrivener, there's no subscription. All you use is a license to activate your Scrivener copy, and then once you're activated, you're good to go. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I apologize if anyone was new here. Yeah, if you're new to Scrivener, some of this may have been a bit much for you. Get if you don't know, if you're not oriented with any of the core tools and things like that, that puts you more in that in that really really beginner mode. Then yeah, this is yeah, it would have been a little bit more challenging for you. Okay, let's see. Done. Looks good here. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Yeah, so I appreciate you bringing that up. So if you haven't seen an email from me from a while, I'm currently in a transition right now, moving. I'm moving everything from one office to another, and so I've been a little behind on things. So I've been relying heavily on a lot of the other things going on, our other social media posts and things to get things that I just haven't had a minute to sit down and do. In fact, it's part of the reason why we didn't have technical support today because I was so focused on moving things over, getting things changed over that I kind of I lost track of that. So sorry about that. Don't worry. More stuff is going to be coming out of my newsletter here soon. I will be sending emails out. Just be patient with me, please. It's been kind of a crazy time. Let's see. Douglas is asking how do I keep italics and other formatting when I transfer writing between Pro Writing 8 and Scrivener. Douglas, that's a great question. I'm gonna keep track of that one, and I'll have to look into that more directly and find out. It's a good question. How do I transfer the outline I made from the last novel to a new one without the content? These are good questions, guys. Can I export at vellum? Dismiss. Bear with me. Like, can I go through some of these real quick? I'm also gonna table that one too, Gail, because that's a good question. It's something that I'd like to experiment with. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Um, I might have to mess around with it and find a good answer for you. Okay. Harvey's asking how to modify a document and save the original. How to modify a document and save the. I think we kind of covered that with snapshots, right? So if you come to a document, you want to change it, use the snapshots tool to take that snapshot beforehand, and then that'll allow you to save that version, that draft, right before changing or making any modifications to it. Yep, Daniel. So that's true. Yeah. So, I just saw your copy from that. Yeah. So, like I said, I've been relying heavily on the Literature and Latte email going out. We don't that email that newsletter doesn't go out quite as often as mine does. I do send out quite a few more newsletters than the main Literature and Latte account. But yeah, mine has kind of dropped. I haven't been able to do much with the webinars lately. So I'll jump into it, and you may see less of like the webinar stuff. I'm not going to do it quite as heavy because we are going to be sending more emails from the Literature and Latte newsletter, but you will see more writing tools and more Scrivener tools and things coming out from my newsletter. I have entered. Ooh, so someone's asking, I've entered Pro Writing Games Novel November. Will there be a new Scrivener version Windows? I don't think we have anything planned for a new version. There may be a NaNoWriMo version available. Not NaNoWriMo, sorry. It used to be NaNoWriMo. It's now Novel November. There probably will be a special Novel November version for those of you who don't currently own Scrivener and want to give it a try. We've done that for years and years with NaNoWriMo, and with Novel November kind of jumping in as becoming a part of that. There's going to be a version available for that. So stay tuned for that. I'll have more of that in next month. And next month is Preptober, right? So we're going to be prepping for Novel November, and I'll go deeper into that and answer that a little bit better as I get more information. and we're kind of things are kind of up in the air right now. We just started this whole collaboration thing with Pro Writing Aid. We're really excited with what they're doing, and so we're excited to be a part of it. But things are still trickling in. This is all new, so bear with us as we figure out this new experience, right? So Bill is asking, is collaboration available? For example, when working with my editor, we do this in Google Docs. So that's a great question. So currently, Bill, I wish I could say we have collaboration. That hopefully that's something we'll see in a future version of Scrivener. It's not to say that you can't collaborate. You can. It's just not going to be as intuitive as it is in Google Docs. That's one thing that Google Docs just does really well, is that you can have multiple people working on a single document in a browser, right? Typically, how I get around that, I do have a co-writer that I work with in a book, and so typically we will post things in Google Drive and work things together, and I actually bring it back into Scrivener when I'm working on it, and then kind of bring it back and forth. There's a lot of different ways you can handle that, but yeah, there's no really intuitive way to do it directly in Scrivener. Unfortunately, it's kind of something you kind of have to work with the other writer, and even if you both use Scrivener, you may still find using Google Docs as a go-between between you as a good option for now. Hopefully, we'll see some future where that changes, where we're able to collaborate in real time in Scrivener. We do have, we are working on new versions and new ideas, new projects. So if there's something that interests you, if we see a lot of people interested in that, we can definitely look into that more. So send us an email to one of the email addresses listed earlier, and we'll definitely look into that. Okay, how are we doing on time? I think we'll go down to 2:30. Perfect. Yep. Okay. So there we go. So Harvey, I think we kind of already talked about academic references, so I'm going to go ahead and table that one. Okay, DW is asking how to get to the big picture buttons. I'm thinking that's relating more to the toolbar. Is that what you're talking about, DW? How to get to your toolbar here, right? And how to if you're on PC, how to get to that part. You should be able to use the help button here and go to toolbar, customize toolbar, and find that, and then then make those changes. Unfortunately, I have no way of showing specifically on PC today because my PC isn't hooked up to do it, unfortunately, right now. Um, I do. I think I do have some other webinars where we did it on a PC in the webinar library you can check out. But if you can't find anything there, our technical support team can actually get you some screenshots and things, maybe some videos to kind of show you how that's done and where to get that, or how to get to that point. Change the font. Okay. That's a good question, but we'll table that one. So I see someone's asking in the chat, is Dropbox the only way to sync? I have OneDrive, iCloud, and Google Drive. So obviously, iCloud would be our ideal, but because of issues with iCloud and the way it syncs, it's not a great option for Scrivener. You can, for OneDrive, for iCloud, for Google Drive, you can save your compressed backups, but I wouldn't keep a live project there currently. Now we are working on solutions, but right now the best option is Dropbox. And unfortunately, it looks like I'm losing my voice, guys. I've been having some real allergy issues lately. So let's see here, using Windows PC. Let's see here. So there you go. Hopefully that answers that question. Yes, there will be a recording. Okay, there will be a recording, so you can access the recording here tomorrow. Okay, so there you go. For those of you who just jumped in. Okay, let's look here. Maybe answer, but can you dictate to Scrivener? Yes, you can dictate to Scrivener. Um, uh, Works really great. You can use dictation software that is designed that is external. You can use the built-in dictation in Scrivener. Let's see here, and it's not built into Scrivener, built into your Mac OS or Windows. Each one is a little bit different. Let's see if I can find dictation real quick. Yep, right there. Edit start dictation is right there. You can set up keyboard shortcuts and fun things like that. I have gone deeper into that in previous webinars, but that's where you would find that option right there. Okay, start dictation. And then you can just talk into your microphone and it'll come through. Let's see if I can do that. So let's go to edit. And I could say anything I'd like, and it'll come on the screen just like so. Period. Done. Of course, if I want to turn it off, let's see. Stop the dictation. Okay. Now, I used to have like a keyboard shortcut set up for this. I've since turned it off, mostly because I haven't been using it as much because my voice has been going out thanks to allergies and other things. But I do love dictating. It is a savior for the hands. I kind of have to switch back and forth because my hands are, I type so much. My wrists are killing me all the time, carpal tunnel, all that fun stuff. I have physical therapy, believe it or not, for all that kind of thing. And so I will switch back between dictating and using and typing. So I recommend you do both. It's really helpful. Just, you don't want to wear out your voice too much. You don't want to wear your hands too much. Just switch back and forth. Take your time with it. It's really good. Okay, guys. Um, yes, yes. Typically, Charlemagne, yes, dictation does require you to speak the punctuation. Sometimes, depending on the software you're using, like Apple's is pretty good. I've actually been pretty impressed with Apple's and built-in dictation. Windows is pretty good too, but it's not quite as good as Apple's. And of course, you can get like other new apps that are coming out that are really, really good now. I haven't had a chance to test any of them yet, but that have more features. But I found just using the built-in one works just fine for me. So there you go. Okay. Well, unfortunately, there's so many questions. I just cannot get to them all. And with my voice going out, I think it's probably best we wrap it up for today. I just want to say thank you, everyone. This has been an amazing session. I love all these questions. I'm going to look at them. I can, the good news is I can see all these questions after the fact, and I'll try to create and generate content and create webinars built around your questions. Of course, if I don't, if it feels like, hey, I'm missing you and I'm still not getting to your question or your comment, please email me, email our technical support. We'll get you taken care of one way or the other. We want to get your questions answered. Thank you so much. You've all been amazing. It's been such a wonderful group. I will let me open up the last screen one more time so you can see those emails real quick. And I'll just say, if I can find my notes here, they're gone. Of course, they're gone. There they are. Boom. I just want to express my gratitude to each of you for all you do. So thank you for coming. And until next time, write on and stay creative. Thank you so much. See ya.